By now, you know Donald Trump is lagging in the polls, and he's even struggling in some deep red states that have always voted Republican. Will his slash and burn strategy help him turn things around or sink him even deeper? Then our panel of attorneys is going to join us. We're going to look at some election stories and election issues, including Trump's threats to appoint a special prosecutor and throw Hillary Clinton into jail if he wins, a threat he reiterated today, as well as the possible legal battle over the release of more Trump tapes. Also, the new NYPD commissioner throwing out an olive branch to minority communities and also asking them for their help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French. We have all those stories as well as a couple big updates on some trials. Now, we start, though, with the race to the White House, and it's now only 26 days until the election day. Believe it or not, we see the finish line, people. Hillary Clinton continuing to get a bounce. She now has at least an 8-point lead among likely voters in the new Reuters poll. Other polls have the spread looking even bigger. She's also looking good in pivotal swing states like Florida and Pennsylvania, and doing well in states that are historically deep red, including Utah, where she right now is with a jump ball with Trump. The thing is tied. Plus, reports say the Clinton campaign feels it has a shot at actually winning Georgia and Arizona, which are both deep red. Then there, of course, is the ongoing civil war that is the GOP. A new USA Today poll shows more than a quarter of Republican governors and members of Congress are refusing to endorse their party's nominee. And things have gone from bad to worse since House Speaker Paul Ryan said he's not going to defend Trump any longer. He said that on Monday. And, well, that led to a Twitter tirade from the Donald. Here's just a sample. Quote, Paul Ryan should spend more time on balancing the budget, jobs, and illegal immigration and not waste his time on fighting the Republican nominee. He went further. It's so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to. Trump, he went on Fox News last night to continue the attacks.
I think we should get support, and we don't get the support from guys like Paul Ryan. He had a conference call yesterday with congressmen, with hundreds of them, and they practically rioted against him on the phone. One person stuck up for him. So I'm just tired of non-support, and I don't really want to support. You know, if he calls now and wants to, this happens all the time. If you sneeze, he calls up and announces. Isn't that a terrible thing? So look, I don't want his support. I don't care about his support. What I want to do is I want to win for the people.
I don't think he wants his support. All right, let me bring in political journalist and author Dominic Carter. First of all, if the shackles are off now, what more can he do? Where does this thing go if he feels that now he's liberated? This has been toned down to this point?
Richard, I don't even know where to begin. We're talking about a landslide victory now for Hillary Clinton. This is over. And I am saying this as objectively as can be stated. You mentioned slash and burn politics. You are right, but that is the understatement of the year. This logic that he's going to play to his base and ignore, as your original point when you said, is he going to get over that 40%? And he's going to try and depress the vote. It's like, what? What do you talk? So we're days from the election and you're going to war with the Speaker of the House and you think that you're going to emerge victorious? No matter what happens to Paul Ryan, that's after you go down.
And you know what's funny, Dom? In any other election cycle, the WikiLeaks that have come out against Podesta and internals of the Clinton campaign, that would be a real problem for the nominee. But Donald Trump has done everything humanly possible and then beyond to take the attention off that story and put it back on infighting between him and his own party here. Forget that we've never seen anything like this, but when you hear Utah, Georgia, Arizona that are in play for the Democratic candidate, oh my God, there's no math, there's no path that he's got a fighting chance. And now he's saying that, you know, he's going to limp to the finish line. He's almost telegraphing here that it ain't going to end well for him, and then he's looking for everybody to blame.
Well, he can blame all he wants. Mr. Trump came close to fooling the American people in terms of making a contest out of this for a while, but the real Donald Trump showed up. And I have to return to your original point that you argued all along, in which you said, where is he going to grow his base? when I was saying that it looked competitive, but you said, where is he going to grow his base? Now, what we know for a fact, the base is going down instead of expanding. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's on the world stage. Hillary Clinton, and I'm saying this objectively, is the next president of the United States. And Richard, to answer your question directly, it's almost like Trump is throwing elbows. No, Hillary, you're not going to dominate this news cycle with your negative story. My negative story is going to go over yours. What?
And if he could possibly alienate more constituencies here at the same time, think about surrogates. He's got no surrogates. Rudy Giuliani, okay, he's got no surrogates. At the same time, we saw Al Gore going out today trying to talk about the environment, but you have Obama sitting at 55%, his wife even more popular than her going out there, where we all thought Bill Clinton would have been the required surrogate to help Hillary. He's all but been tabled here, and it's all the others. It's building, as you said, to what could be a landslide. Still, we've seen stranger things here, but nonetheless, surprising. All right, now, Trump, though, as I referenced, will not go quietly into the good night. And forget about all the smears and all the attacks. He's also claiming that the deck is stacked against him. He says he's worried about cheating. Here he is on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania.
We're going to watch Pennsylvania. Go down to certain areas and watch and study and make sure other people don't come in and vote 5 times. The only way we can lose, in my opinion, I really mean this, Pennsylvania, is if cheating goes on.
Now, Trump is getting his followers all riled up. And here's what one woman at a rally for Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, had to say.
If Hillary Clinton gets in, I'm ready for a revolution because we can't have her in.
Yeah, you don't say.
But I'm just...
Now, to be fair, Mike Pence was like, no, you don't have to do the revolution. And if you think back to 2 cycles ago, you remember John McCain when the woman questioned if Barack Obama was really an American or a Christian or whatever. He said he's a good man and everything else. I really wonder, Dom, if it was Donald Trump and that woman was talking about a revolution, if he wouldn't tell her where to go grab a gun. I'm being half facetious here, but it's starting to be some angry language. What's the phrase you always hear from Donald Trump? It's rigged. The election's rigged, that it's already set up to get you. And when you have 30 to 40% of this country that doesn't matter what he does, who he offends, what he says, they're just so angry, and he's pouring accelerant on that fire, it's getting dangerous. You put on top of that what we also learned, listen, whatever you think of Hillary Clinton or any of the Democrats or whatever else, clearly there's been an agenda with the hacking, okay? Let's even say that they haven't even manipulated some of that emails that have now been released. Let's say they're all legitimate. We don't know that, but let's say hypothetically they are. There clearly is a trend here. Now, Trump says, we don't know who they're from. He apparently has been getting national security briefings where they're telling them it is the Russians, the same one that she gets and everyone else, it is the Russians who are hacking them, but yet he's on a complete defense of one Putin and one Russia. So when he's telling the audience, it's rigged, they're talking about revolt, he's saying that the election, that the votes are getting, in fact, coordinated, to me, that's a little scary. And we won't potentially see what we normally see on election night. Somebody loses, they pick up the phone, they call the winner, they concede, and then they say graciously, we're all one America. I'm not holding my breath that that's going to happen after November 8th.
I have to agree with you. I don't know if Trump will make the concession call as well. We saw what happened the other night at the debate. I mean, they walk out, and she looked, this is just my observation, she looked like she was willing to shake his hand. She didn't make the move, but he didn't make a move either. And so they did shake hands afterwards. Richard, I think what we're seeing is, and I'm trying to tame my words here, what we're seeing is con man Trump setting up for why he lost.
And we're also seeing, I think, 2 Americas, Dom. Now, there was one thing that struck me. Billy Bush, he was the entertainment Access Hollywood guy. Then he got on the Today Show, the 9 o'clock hour. I don't expect to get used to seeing him there. All but is assured he is going to be on his way out. That after he appeared on that Access Hollywood tape with Donald Trump, and you heard him laughing along. Well, President Obama said something interesting, that Trump would be disqualified from a job at 7-Eleven for saying the things that he did. And I believe, Dom, and I wonder if you do, there's going to be more tapes.
Well, we know, Richard, you and I both know, having been around, we've done the rodeo a few times. If anyone thinks that that's the only tape, then you're being terribly naive. As a matter of fact.
And usually, explain to people, if they leak that with 30 days out, they don't leak the best stuff
Right.
4 weeks plus, right?
You save the very best for the weekend before the election, as you just pointed out. Trump even himself acknowledged if they release more tapes, then he would talk about
what else
all
is he
the
gonna
other
say
stuff.
about Bill
But
Clinton?
Richard, but the last time I checked, right? So Bill Clinton steps out, whatever, on his marriage, and that's Hillary Clinton's fault?
Well, that was the application. It brings me to my final point, Dom, and I'm curious what you think. Look at who Trump has surrounded himself, and certainly in the last quarter push here, the kind of people. They're media people. Stephen Bannon, he runs right-wing news outlet Breitbart. He's also helping having a major voice in the Trump campaign. Roger Ailes, you see on the side of your screen, he's a Trump consultant, and of course, he ran Fox News until stepping down over his own sexual harassment scandals. You have others as well. There is a growing theory, and I don't just think it's a conspiracy theory here. They forget about Trump being the worst loser on the planet over here in terms of accepting defeat. His end game may not be to try and win the election. It might be to form a TV network. Do you see kind of the outline here where his base has got to go somewhere when this is said and done? And it's not that they're all Fox people here, because he went to war with Fox too.
Initially, I thought that premise was ridiculous, that he would start a television network. I thought he was much bigger and much better than that. But the way he's going out right now, Richard, what else is there left? Because he's completely ruined the Trump brand in terms of
indicators his business has really suffered as a
right. I mean, so what's left for him?
Yep.
There's nothing else to show for this.
It'll be fascinating to see how this all shakes out. As we said, 26 days. Dom, thank you, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow night. Now, coming up next, though, we pivot from politics to the law and how the two intersect, especially in this bizarre election. Our legal panel's here to hash it all out.